Okay, it's time for the commentary for the Hitch 2 lesson, the second scene of Hitch. Continuing along with the same movie, this is a nice little scene. I like this movie. I have used it in my classes many times, and it's always popular. It's a fun little movie. And there's a lot of nice common idioms and slang, casual language, which you may or may not know. Again, I like using these kinds of movies because they give you a little bit different kind of English. Most articles and most reading material that you find in English are going to be somewhat formal. Not necessarily very formal, but still, it's a bit more formal than the casual conversation we use every day on the street, especially between native speakers. Movies are closer, especially movies that are, romantic comedies, straight comedies, things like that, tend to use a much more casual style of speech, the kind of speech we use every day, especially in America. Now, I don't know about England. I think it depends, of course, on the situation, but in general, I think Americans tend to be a bit more casual than British people. I may be wrong, but anyway. Let's actually talk about this scene. Let me give you a little description of what's happening in the scene, in case you haven't seen the movie. In this scene, Hitch is giving advice to three different guys. Three guys, they are in love with women, three different women. But these guys, they're kind of shy, and they're not good with women. They don't know what to do. So Hitch's job, Will Smith is the actor, Hitch is the character. Hitch's job is to help them do better on the dates so they can, get this woman that they love so much. So he's giving them advice what to do on the first date, on the second date, on the third date. And the movie will it will jump between scenes of him with these different guys, and then also shows scenes of these guys on their dates. All right, so at first he's talking to this shy guy, this bald guy who's very shy, and he says, if you're shy, be shy. If you're outgoing, be outgoing. And the guy says, oh, I'm not outgoing. And Hitch says that's okay. So he's just telling the guy, be yourself. Don't try to be another person. Don't pretend you're outgoing if you're not outgoing, right? You have to use your own personality. And he's saying the woman doesn't want to see everything all at once, but she wants to see it. It means on the first date, you don't tell her everything. Don't tell her all your secrets, all your problems, right? She might get scared. Oh my God, too much. But he's saying, eventually, if she falls in love with you, of course she wants to know everything. But be careful, don't tell her too much in the beginning. You need to go slowly. All right, and then he's given this other guy, there's another scene, he's in a taxi with this guy, this black guy. And this guy's nervous about his date. And Hitch is telling him to relax. He's saying, she said yes, she already agreed to go on a date. So you don't need to worry. You don't need to try to make her like you. She already likes you. That's why she said yes. If she didn't like you, she would have blown you off, right? She would have said no. She would have made an excuse. Oh, I'm busy. Oh, I'm sorry. Can't do it. Or she would have canceled. But since she didn't blow you off, it means, okay, she already likes you, so relax. You don't need to convince her. He says, all you need to do is not mess it up. So he's saying, just relax, just don't make any big mistakes. You don't need to convince her, but you also don't want to make a big mistake. Don't do something really stupid. Okay, then we go to another scene. This time he's talking to this other guy, this little kind of short guy. This guy's in love with this Asian woman, and he's talking. The guy bought new shoes, and he's wearing a nice suit. Hitch helped him, pick out his clothes. And Hitch says, wow, your shoes are hot. In this case, hot just means, wow, they look really good. They look really fashionable, right? They look great. And the guy says, oh, yeah, but they're not really me. So maybe this guy is normally very casual, but now he's wearing very nice clothes, and he thinks, they're not me, they don't fit my personality. But Hitch says, look, you is a very fluid concept. It means you need to change your idea of yourself. You can be a different kind of person. You don't have to be the same all the time. Okay, and then he gives him advice, specific advice about what to do on the first date. He says, hang back, give her space, don't be next to her all the time. Let her go look at things and you go look at something else. Let her linger at a picture and you keep going. But he says maintain the visual, so don't totally leave her. Make sure she can still see you and you can still see her, but don't be next to her, on top of her all the time. Okay, and then he says, he's telling them basic information, simple ideas like, actually talk to her, ask her questions, be interested in her. Don't just look at her mouth. Actually be interested in who she is and what she thinks. That seems like good advice. All right, and then finally, a little bit later on, we see another guy, the black guy again. He's on a date with this woman. They are rollerblading, and they stop at a truck to get ice cream. He orders a bomb pop and a screwball. These are just funny names for different kinds of ice cream on a stick. And then Hitch says, how does great love happen? How do people fall in love? And he says, we don't know. Nobody knows how it happens, but it happens in the blink of an eye. It means suddenly, quickly, you fall in love. You have no idea how or why, but it happens, boom, instantly. You fall in love in the blink of an eye. Okay, and then finally, he talks about the third date. He thinks the third date is most important because that's when the first kiss happens. And of course, this is a movie. In American culture, there are not strict rules about this, right? There's no rule that says, third date, you kiss. This is just for the movie. It's not general American culture. And I don't know about this part. He says, where 8 out of 10 women believe the first kiss tells them everything they need to know. I don't know if I agree with that or not, but I'm not a woman, so I can't answer that question. All right, anyway. And he's comparing the third date to the high-stakes medal round in the Olympics. So you can imagine the medal round, let's say it's basketball in the Olympics. Well, the final game between the last two teams, the winner gets the gold medal. The winner is the champion. So it's high stakes, right? It's important, this game. It's a big win. If you win, you would get the gold medal. If you lose, you're the loser. Nobody remembers you. So it's high stakes and then medal round. So he's saying the third date is the same. It's very important. If it's good, you get the woman, yay, and everything is wonderful and you fall in love. And if you have a bad first kiss, then she thinks, this guy's a loser. And then you lose her and you're going to be sad the rest of your life. All right. And then finally, he gives some general advice about life. And during that scene, by the way, this high-stakes medal round, you see these 3 guys kissing the women on the first date. I'm sorry, on the third date. So they're kissing each other. And then finally, the last scene, he gives some advice. And he says, life is not the amount of breaths you take. It's the moments that take your breath away. So what he's saying is the amount of breaths you take. He just means life is not about how long you live. It's not so important, the length. What's important is the moments that take your breath away, the amazing moments when you fall in love, when you have some great moment with your girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife, or when you do some amazing thing. That's what he means by moments that take your breath away, amazing moments. Okay, so anyway, that's the basic background of this scene. I guess I'll give you my quick commentary. What do I think about this? I like this movie. I think it's kind of a fun, optimistic, romantic movie. Now, of course, be careful. When you watch this movie, some of my students in the past, they watch this movie, they think this is like, strict, real American culture about dating. And it's not. It's a comedy. So it's exaggerating many things. When you see Hollywood movies, usually they exaggerate parts of American culture. So people in the rest of the world have a very exaggerated idea of American culture, often. They see these movies, they think, oh my God, America must really be like that, but it's not so much. Now, some of these things are true. When we date, usually it is a good idea on the first date for Americans not to be too close, not to be too strong. You don't want to tell a woman on the first date, I love you. She will think you're crazy and dangerous and probably avoid you. So you have to be a little more relaxed. And when we date in America, it's a process, okay? Usually, we go out 1, 2, 3 times just to know each other. So you ask a woman, hey, would you like to go out for coffee? Would you like to get dinner? Do you want to go to a movie? Usually a very relaxed way, and hopefully she says yes. Then you go and you just chat a little bit, right? You chat, you're just getting to know each other. And then, if things go well, if you seem to like each other, you seem to have similar interests, then you might say, okay, well, hey, let's do this again sometime, right? So you make a second date. And on the second date, you might talk about more serious things. The first date, you talk about less maybe your hobbies, maybe basically your family, your friends, but nothing too serious. Second date, maybe a little more serious. And then third date, more serious things. And then in terms of kissing, when do you kiss somebody? There's no rule about that. Some people might kiss on the first date if they really, really seem to like each other, if there's a strong attraction. Some people might wait much longer. It just depends. There's no clear rules in America. But, eventually people do kiss. And when they kiss, that's usually a sign that, okay, now it's a little more serious. It doesn't mean you're super serious boyfriend and girlfriend. If you have a kiss on an American date, it doesn't mean, wow, now we are only with each other and we will get married someday. Absolutely not. It just means there's an attraction, you like each other, you want to continue. So then you probably would continue seeing each other more and more, and it's a step-by-step process, getting more serious, more serious. And eventually you might describe each other as boyfriend and girlfriend. That is a sign that, oh, okay, now we're quite serious, right? If you say, this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend, it means you are only dating each other and you are serious. And who knows, that might lead to marriage or it might not. Now, in terms of sex, my students always ask, what about sex in America? They think, oh, everybody just has sex on the first date because you see these movies and you think, oh, it happens, that's what Americans do. Well, that's not true. Now, it does happen. Some people go to bars and they're just looking for someone to have sex with. It's called a one-night stand. It happens, but it's not the normal thing. It's not what most people do. In fact, it's a step-by-step process. And usually people don't have sex with each other until they've been on several dates or they know each other fairly well. It totally depends on the individuals and the situation. But it usually does not happen on the first date, nor the second date. It takes time. And sex is usually a sign that, yes, we are boyfriend and girlfriend now, or we're together. Usually. Now, a lot depends on how you meet someone. If you meet somebody in a bar and you've been out drinking, well, that's different. Usually it means, okay, this is more casual. It might not be so serious. If you meet somebody at your job or in a club or some other social situation, then it's probably going to become more serious. So these are kind of general ideas about American dating culture. It's very complicated. It's not the same for any one person or any two people. So be careful about watching movies and deciding about a culture, American culture or any culture, because movies are usually exaggerated and they're not necessarily true about the general culture. Okay, well, that's all this time. I hope you enjoyed the second scene from Hitch. Watch it if you can. Get the video and actually watch it. You'll understand it much better. And then I'll start working on the third scene of Hitch probably this week. Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye.